Let's talk Tony Romo. It appears in the eyes of many that this is the end game for him, that he can't stay healthy. There are some that think he should retire. I'd love to get your thoughts on Tony Romo's latest injury, Coach.
Well, I have a very long relationship with Tony, and actually I just texted him the other night after I found out about it, and pretty extensive text. And, I wouldn't count this guy out just yet. I mean, I think when you're in your mid-30s and you've been hurt a couple of years in a row, those whispers all start, and that people doubt. And they do those things, and that's just human nature. And, also maybe his successor has arrived. We're not sure about that yet, but it looks like that may be the case. So with that in mind, it's you get to, you're like feeling a little like an outsider as a player. Coaches still have to coach. They're sympathetic, but they got a coach who's there, and you're not there. So it's all those things, and it can kind of put you in a little bit of a dark place if you don't watch it. But I don't underestimate this young man. He's got rare toughness, and I know he's going to make an effort to get better. Now, what happens after that? He's got still conditioning after he rehabilitates his injury. He's still got conditioning time, and then he's got to get back into the flow of football. So that's a pretty big task at this time of year.
So if you're Jason Garrett, what are you trying to do with Dak Prescott right now? Do you take the playbook and switch it around? Do you make the field smaller for him? What do you do if you were Garrett going into the season with him?
Well,
Coach?
Not really knowing his assets firsthand. I'm going to try to take what I think he does well and emphasize that, and try to minimize the things that I feel like he may still have uncertainty about. But this is a big task for this young man because, when the season starts, things get a little different, and they're going to, it's like the baseball player that goes around the pitchers the second time. It's not the same. They know a little more about you. They get a couple games in, the Cowboys, they see what he does and they see what he doesn't do, and pretty soon they're trying to make you do what he doesn't seem to do well. And so it's a long haul, but that's why these guys that become the premier quarterbacks are something special.
Bill Parcells, Hall of Famer, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Jerry Jones was nominated for enshrinement, and he was selected as potentially he was selected as one of the contributors potentially for the next class. If he gets in, what would your bust say to Jerry's when the lights go out, Coach?
Well, that I would welcome him, first of all, and say, secondly, that I think he did have a marked effect on the National Football League and the growth of the game. And I think his marketing certainly is in the forefront and has been one of the major reasons the league has expanded so successfully and developed so successfully. I don't think anybody could dispute that.
And what was it like being with him when everybody thought that you could be a grocery shopper that might chafe under the management of the grocery store? Well,
we had I think a very, very good relationship. It wasn't always 100% in agreement, but Jerry's word is good, and when he said he was going to do something, he always did it, and that goes a long way with me. And he's a good listener, and he does have his own opinions, of course. He's been in the game for quite a while now, and that's fine. But I enjoyed working with him, and quite frankly, I learned a lot about the other side of professional football. I was always so zeroed in on the football. I gained an understanding of the business end in my experience in Dallas that I really didn't have when I went there.
Like what? What in particular that you gleaned?
Well, he was very, very open with me on why we were doing something, like where we would have training camp places that were big in the marketing end, like Ford was one of his major sponsors. Well, Ford sells more trucks in Texas than any place else, so Ford didn't really like it when we were in California in the summer. So he explained to me these kinds of things and how you got to go about doing this thing to market your franchise and to keep things going forward. And it was very interesting. I learned an awful lot.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.